And we're live.
Yeah.
Did I do it right, JPO?
A little more. I'd say you're about a 6. We get you to an 8 next time. That'd be good.
Okay. I'll work on that. But we are live. Had anything to do a draft, and so here we are. Kind of piggybacking off Henry. He likes to do these drafts, and I had an idea. I asked these people if they wanted to do it. They said, "Sure." So here we are.
Fascinating story.
So fast. Yeah, it's very intriguing. Much like most of these movies we're going to pick are, because most of these movies tell their stories. All of these movies actually will tell their story in under 100 minutes. That is the theme. But we'll explain more of that after we introduce everyone. Chad, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going great. You said, hey, let's do some drafting. I was like, I love drafting. Let's do it, and we're keeping it to some short ass movies. Let's do it.
Let myself a short ass movie. A short ass movie.
Peter Dinklage out of this.
And you can find that reference over at A Show About Trivia, hosted by Chris Diaz.
Also, we have Ant-Man, who's repping the Giants tonight. Ant, how's it going?
Hoping to be doing as good as the Giants hopefully in 2 days. But yeah, excited to be here. Curious about this topic because I don't think I really watched too much under 100-minute movies, but hopefully I come up with some good ones. So curious to see where you guys go with this too. So this is a very interesting topic.
Yeah. We also have repping the other New York team. We have Henry. How's it going?
Good. Yeah, this one's actually fun for me because I have almost 15 movies from my top 100 that are under 100 minutes. So it's like I'm pretty confident in my list, and I have a short list of 36. So I'm confident in this. And I know I created the concept of draft, so I let you borrow it. I'm just kidding.
Simpsons did it.
They created the concept of a draft. I think sports did it. But anyway, I'm ready to have some fun, and I hope JPO loses.
Why just me?
Because you hate football. That's why.
What he means is maybe
Boring.
he'll come in, if he comes in first on the poll and you come in second, then you still lost to him. That's all he means.
I'm down to draft football movies once, though, because I like football movies.
You like the football movies, but not the sport.
Yeah, now, hell no. It's boring.
Well, yeah, I mean, you already heard him talk, so he's here too. JPO.
Yeah.
That's good.
I wrote a screenplay once all about a football game, and there was no football in my screenplay. Just all about the shit that happens in the stands.
How long would it have been?
Under 90 minutes?
Yeah, I was shooting. It was a short and sweet coming of age tale, so yeah, I was shooting for good.
I thought you were going comedy there, but coming of age.
Coming of age comedy. Yeah. It was about high schoolers and just band geeks and the people in the stands that weren't actually in the game.
So Drumline, okay.
Did it involve Heath Ledger
less dramatic.
singing?
No, but I did have Nick Cannon in it. Weirdly enough.
Before or after all the babies?
Probably before at this point. Yeah.
I was gonna say you could fill up the stands with his babies. Like
15 years ago, we're approaching now at this point because I'm old.
All right. Well, before we go too far off, let's start the draft. We are in the order. We spun a wheel off screen, so this is the draft order. Chad will be going first. I'll be second. Ant third. Henry fourth. And JPO fifth. But it is a snake draft, so the order will be reversed in the following round. 5 rounds, 5 picks each. So Chad, hit us with your first pick.
All right, yeah. I mean, I don't have any specific strategy that I'm going for here. I just kind of want to make sure I get a lot of my favorite ones. So I'm going to go with the one that I have first on my list, the one that I thought about first, because I think it takes the 90-minute time frame and basically just perfects that, amount of time and crams everything in there that you need for a fantastic story, fantastic horror story. And I'm just going to go with Halloween 1978. One of my all-time favorite movies. I once did a big debate thing over at the movie Battlegrounds where I argued it's the greatest horror film ever made. Is it? I don't know. I argued a lot for it. I won. So, if that says anything, and, if it's not, it's definitely up there with, all of the other fantastic horror films, and it's also just like one of the great like classics. So yeah, I adore this movie. I think its pacing is perfect, and what it was able to accomplish, it's groundbreaking. It's just, it's John Carpenter's other masterpiece, let's say. So Halloween.
I wouldn't go by your debates because one time you also won by saying Hubie Halloween deserved a sequel over Happy Gilmore, and that just makes no sense. That makes no sense.
Wait, Hubie Halloween might be another great pick here. Let's
go for it, buddy. Go for
Anyways, we'll move on to me after he
Doesn't count.
stole a pick I was hoping to get, but I will go with arguably the best animated movie of all time.
Shocker.
And I'm gonna go with The Lion King.
Oh, okay.
I knew he was doing that.
What was that?
You off my list already. They weren't
I
high.
knew, I knew these were round winners. Yeah, if unless you forgot about them, they're round winners.
Yeah,
What about The Lion King?
What do I need to say about The Lion King? It's The Lion King.
Lion King 2018 or 2019, whatever.
Yeah, specify, please.
Right.
From the year 1994.
Why do you love The Lion King so much?
Why did you become Jerry Seinfeld just now when you said the year? What's the deal?
Oh, he was typing. That's why.
What's the deal with all these hyenas? No, it's such a personal movie to me too. Like, this is one I watched a lot as a kid at my grandma's house. We moved in with my grandma after my grandpa passed away, and my parents worked. I stayed home with my grandma, and this was one I would watch every day before school. It's one that I just love now. I think the voice acting is great, the animation is good, and music incredible. And still, almost 30 years later, it's still talked about as one of the best animated movies just ever made. And so, yeah, I'm glad I was able to get it. I was hesitant about it being like the first overall pick because I know it's a beloved movie, but not surprised that the horror guy took a horror movie first overall. So we'll move on now. Ant, what is your first overall pick?
I feel like I had an idea, but I didn't want to leave it for Henry. I feel like he might go with this.
Fuck him.
I'm gonna go with a movie that I feel like covers a lot of genres. It's one of my favorites, and I think is universally beloved. I'm gonna go with The Princess Bride.
Oh, God.
Nice pick.
By 1 minute, that qualifies.
Yeah.
That's a 99er.
Yeah, 99.
That's funny.
And Halloween's 91, and Lion King is 89. I wrote all of them on my list, so if you have it, if it's on my list, I have how long it is.
Nice.
Yeah.
You guys aren't going to talk about these movies, huh? We're just going to draft.
Right? Do you like
it?
It's a movie talking show. I mean,
At least throw out some quotes, Ant Man.
that's the whole point of going live.
How come my choice doesn't have a year? It should be a year then.
Because both of ours have remakes, and we just want people to know that we're talking about the good ones.
I just think as far as because right now my strategy is like movies I love, but I also feel like other people will love it too. So I'm trying to win. But
Going for that poll.
Yeah, going for that poll. Yeah.
I love how now that the poll has become so popular.
You're like, fuck my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. That's the
What do you guys like? Trying to predict the world.
But I choose.
Yeah. Ron Burgundy. All right, speaking of who that love the poll, Henry.
Am I up?
Yes, Henry, what is your first overall selection?
I know what Antonio was assuming that I'm going to go with. I might go with it next, but I'm going with my first pick. In my top 10, I'm going Fargo.
Okay.
That was on my list.
Coen Brothers, one of the best performances of all time, Frances McDormand as Marge Gunderson, and it's one of those things where Steve Buscemi, low-key, is like fantastic in this movie and just is like very underrated. Like no one really talks about just how fire he was in the 90s, and like this is maybe his best. This movie's just a lot of fun. We don't get Marge until 30 minutes in, and she steals the movie the rest of the way. It's only 98 minutes, and that was actually the main reason I was like, "Hey Jordan, let's bump it from 95 to under 100, so I can get Fargo." So yeah, this movie's a blast. William H. Macy, he's a goofball. He literally did some shady stuff, so he plotted a thing to have his wife kidnapped. It's a fake kidnapping essentially, because it's like, hey, get that, and then my father-in-law, I'm gonna get the money from him, and then shit goes awry. So Fargo's just one of those fun movies that under 100 minutes you can just in and out. It's got the Coen Brothers quirkiness to it, but that's some of the best acting. One of the best screenplays, not really based on a true story, but it sets it up at the beginning just to kind of have the stakes feel real, because a lot of stuff goes buck wild in this. And the scene with Mike Yamaguchi where it's real weird if you don't really actually understand the screenwriting of like why that is. It's because she's very like trustworthy and nice, and she wants to step out of the circle. Like she goes on the date because she's like, I'm complacent. So it not only does it help her appreciate Norm more, but it also opens her eyes with with William H. Macy's character of like he's not on the up and up, and I need to check him out again. So it's very strong screenwriting, and one of my favorites of all time. And it's in my top 10 of all time. So boom, Fargo.
The perfect movie. Good, great choice.
Hell yeah. That's how you talk about a movie instead of just, there's my pick. Next.
It's like the NFL draft. We're just like, all right, with this pick, we just choose it.
Yeah.
You got to shake up with Roger Goodell.
Just Chad Ocho Cinco.
Picks, you know what I mean? It's not an in and out scenario.
Right.
Ooh, In and Out. How long is In and Out?
The old in and out. All right, JPO, you're on the
No, Kevin Kline. Thank you,
Kevin
host
Kline.
Henry.
That is a good movie, actually, In and Out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I like In and Out for sure. Maybe it's a future ASAC question about something about it. Yeah, so there's actually several really good animated choices on the board. I'm gonna start off with that as well. I'm gonna go with the first Toy Story here. Just
on my list.
still a fascinating world that they built here. I know as a kid I would close my door and just listen, be like, all right, come on, toys, start moving, start talking. I know you're alive. Poor old Sid, who, when you look back on it, you go, that kid's gonna have some therapy issues, but hey, yeah, he deserved it at the time. Yeah, just it's an introduction to the world that we still love to this day. Toy Story. Is that enough, Henry, or should I keep going?
Keep going.
I don't mind.
And Buzz is cool, and Ham's a fun character, and the dinosaur. Is that good, Henry, or should I?
It's falling with style.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
One of John Ratzenberger is best. Am I right?
Yeah, I was gonna say Jacob loves John Ratzenberger.
good old John Ratzenberger.
Johnny Rats, as we like.
Some
to
people
call
thought
him.
you were saying he's one of the greatest actors of all time.
I know. Like, tell us you didn't watch the draft without saying you didn't watch the draft.
Is it just one of these things?
we were live for a reason. It's all out of context, man.
And then up next, this might have been what Anna Henry referred to. Maybe it's not, but
Whoa.
it's the
Hold on.
What?
I know you have another pick, but let's recap the round first.
Okay, I don't know how it works on the show.
He's really trying to get in and out, right?
No, let's just recap the round real quick. So Chad had the first overall pick. He took Halloween. I took The Lion King. Ant took The Princess Bride. Henry took Fargo, and JPO took Toy Story. Chad, what are your thoughts on the first round? And are you surprised at any of the picks? Or
well, I mean, what was it? Like two of them were on my list. Lion King should have been on there, but I kept it to like a solid 10. And I had Toy Story, I had Fargo, I had mine, and that was about it. I considered The Princess Bride and Lion King as well, because they're both great films. So far we're all batting 100 or whatever, the
1,000, 100 in baseball. Ant, what are your thoughts on the first round?
I was surprised that there's 2 animated movies taken already, but luckily only one of them was mine. I have like 4 on my list, so luckily I have some options. But yeah, Lion King, it's a good strong. I didn't write it down. Probably should have, but I'm like, it's something I can wait on. And
with Barber,
yeah, and then Henry did surprise me, but I knew that was my second guess for what Henry was gonna do. Yeah. So. Interesting to see. I don't know if we're gonna. I feel like it's gonna. Surprisingly, I'm gonna predict that this draft has mostly animated movies.
They're the easiest picks for under 90. Yeah.
They are. Yeah. I have a few on my list, which probably shouldn't surprise anyone. But Henry, your thoughts on the first round?
Halloween's on my list, obviously, but it's not something that I would have gone first overall or even the first round. Nothing against the movie, so there's just other movies that just have a broader scale of things, and Halloween's a niche like genre of the horror slasher. You know what I mean? Where I have 5 or 6 that cover various mindsets and moods. The Princess Bride is a great one. It's one of those ones that I need to rewatch because it's like I can quote it to death. I do love it, but the last time I watched with my nieces and they didn't really pay attention and they like killed the vibe. So it's like, maybe I don't like this movie so much. It's like, no, those damn fucking kids ruined everything. But and then The Lion King, if I had to go, based on this criteria of under 100 minutes for animated, it might be my number one choice. So it's just one of those things. And that's not a poll reason. That's just, I do love that movie. And then screw JPO.
Speaking of screwing JPO, what are your thoughts on the first round?
Yeah, everyone but Henry had a really good round one here. I mean, Halloween and Lion King definitely are ones I was gunning for, but not surprised that they're gone, especially just knowing Chad and Jacob a little bit. I knew Jacob was going to get the Lion King if I didn't beat him to it. Princess Bride, really great pick. Fargo, he's a basic bitch, so that's fine.
All right. And I'm not surprised at any of these picks either. They were all on my list. So, just doing a lot of crossing off and hoping something that towards the top of my list falls to me in round 2. But I've got some time to wait because JPO has the first pick in round 2. So JPO. Yeah,
the first of a director that I don't think has still to this day not made a bad movie yet here, and it is a great introduction. Reservoir Dogs is going to be my pick in here in round 2. No, fuck you. That's my name. Oh, wrong movie.
100 minutes.
Damn. And this one's 99. So this is another 99er. So thank you, Quentin, for shaving off a minute of your screenplay. So you can make it in my draft.
If this was later in his career, there'd be an extra minute of toast. So
probably a whole other 40 minutes, because this is, I feel, his kind of one of his more tighter movies here, more of a bottled movie to a degree here. A lot of it taking place in one spot, but the dialogue is here. Everyone knows the diner scene. Recent ASAP question: who plays Mr. Brown? It's Quentin Tarantino. It's great. Everyone knows the dancing sequence here that somehow works there, and what an introduction into Hollywood. Reservoir Dogs.
All right, Henry, what are you pairing up with Fargo?
So I have a criteria, like my mindset going into this of like under 100 minutes. There's different genres and styles of things that I want to have a well-versed roster. So I'm gonna go with the classic. I'm gonna go with one of the top 5 greatest movies of all time. I'm gonna go 12 Angry Men at 97 minutes.
Yeah, on my list as well.
Yeah, when you're thinking about a movie that like shouldn't work based on just the simple concept, it's just the screenwriting, the acting is what transcends this movie. It's 12 men in a room that are deliberating on a clear cut case, essentially, that based on how it was approached in the trial through words, kind of like what Reservoir Dogs does later, where it's like you don't actually see the heist, you just deal with the aftermath and all that stuff. That's kind of like what 12 Angry Men does, of showcasing like this young man's life who clearly killed his father, but did he? And it's not about, are we giving him the benefit of the doubt or are we sympathizing for him? It's more of, let's go, let's do this right. Let's actually give the person the justice they deserve and go through the process of actually deliberating and discussing it. One guy's got to go to a baseball game, 2 or 3 guys don't like him because he's not white. You know what I mean? There's plenty of other reasons that, it just, you need to have, the moral questions, and you need to have different, types of people, to deliberate and come up with, justice. Like I said, for right or wrong, what if he actually did or not, it's not really the point. It's the point of doing, going through the process. So, fantastic dialogue, fantastic acting, and it's a great movie. So, and it's under 100 minutes. So in and out.
Yeah. Yeah, before we had switched it, I was like, I wish I could put this on the list. And then we switched it, and like, all right, and then I was hoping to get that round 2. So screw you, Henry.
Yeah.
Ant.
I'm 2 for 2.
Your next pick.
Screw you.
Yeah, I could have totally fucked up Henry's list by taking that, but I don't love it as much as he does. So I was just like, and I would have had to like just tell me your man. That's it. Just be quiet because I don't really know that much to describe it. I think I'm gonna go animated, and I think it's arguably this studio's best film. I say arguably because I'm sure not everyone agrees with me, and I love this film personally. I'm gonna go with Wall-E.
Oof, overrated.
Love it.
Yeah.
Great pick.
Yeah.
It's got a Criterion release for a reason. Boom.
Yeah, I feel like it's actually underrated. Like I don't know, it's just like for
snootiest Pixar. Yeah, that's why.
Come on, man. It's like just for a movie that doesn't have like too much dialogue from its main character, it just exudes so much, man. I never get tired of it.
It's under 100 minutes.
I'm not into the fat shaming. What can I say? They look comfortable and happy. That seemed like a perfect world. That all of a sudden they're like, we gotta change.
I wasn't.
No, you don't. You look happy.
I'm a big guy too. I wasn't bothered by it.
The two fat people fell in love, though.
Yeah, man.
They're large and in charge.
Exactly.
They saved the day along with Wall-E. They catch all those babies.
They save Earth, pretty much. Yeah.
I feel the fat shaming too. I feel it. So my next pick does not include fat shaming. I'm pretty sure. I also wanted to give a nice mix here, so I'm going to go with a horror comedy that, since we changed it to just under 100, this one fits because it's right at 99.
Yeah.
Simon Pegg, Nick Frost. I'm going Shaun of the Dead.
No! Okay. Damn it, that was my next pick.
Y'all change it. I remembered not putting on the list because I put that 90 and 95.
Yeah, this is my favorite of the trilogy. I think it's funny. I think performances. I haven't seen it in a while, but I also knew that it would just kind of irritate some people if I took it. So that's also a plus. I need to give it a rewatch because it has been a while. But sorry, I can't type and talk at the same time. I'm a horrible host.
Need a producer.
But there we go.
Reinvigorated the zombies genre.
Yeah, it's a fun zombie movie. I love how they're like the album scene is probably my favorite, where they're just like throwing records at zombies. It's a fun movie. The horror's there, the comedy's there. You got a little bit of heart to it, a little bit. Shaun of the Dead will be my second pick. Chad, what will be your second pick?
Oh fuck, that was gonna be it because that was my number 2 that I wrote down on my list because I gotta pick Shaun of the Dead. I should have picked it first, but I didn't, so I lose out. I'm gonna go with my animated pick here, and I'm gonna go with one of my all-time favorites now, How to Train Your Dragon. Because I was definitely afraid somebody was going to take this because, I was like, I could go another Toy Story, but I'm not going to sit there and someone went Toy Story. I'm not going to get just another Toy Story. I'm like, I'm going to go with another original film. And Toy Story is one that, went on first because that's one of my, all-time favorites from my childhood. And How to Train Your Dragon, I wasn't a kid for. Yet I adore it all the same. Like all 3 of those films, I think, are just excellent. It's like one of the greatest trilogies ever made. But it all started with this first film, and just seeing the relationship build between Hiccup and Toothless, and just that whole society change. I think it's something that we actually kind of need as like a society to view films like this, to see that animation's not just a kids thing, that like adults can actually like get into these movies and actually like learn something from it, because people dote on their hold true to their traditions, and then they end up seeing that it's not only harmful to the dragons but to themselves, and they change for the better, and people see like kind of like their weaknesses as their strengths, and there's just a lot to say in this movie, and it's like perfectly animated. You have Jonesy from Sigur Rós going in there and doing some of the most beautiful music you've ever heard with like the flying sequences. And I don't know, it's just like it took me a little bit to actually get why this movie's so brilliant and this trilogy is so brilliant. But to represent this trilogy as just one of the greatest, animated of all time, but also of all time, I just it's a perfect movie, and I have to have this one on my list.
And you got it.
Yes.
So to recap, round 2, we kicked it off with JPO taking Reservoir Dogs. Henry stole 12 Angry Men from me. Ant took Wally. I took Shaun of the Dead. Chad closed it off with How to Train Your Dragon. JPO, what are your thoughts on round 2?
Another good round here, man. Yeah, the How to Train Your Dragon, I've said before, I think is one of the best trilogies of the last 20 years. There's not a bad entry in that trilogy. Shaun of the Dead, that's just an overlook of not seeing it on like other lists, so that definitely would have been on my list because I love that to pieces. So you got a banger list so far here. Wally, I know is really good. There's other animated movies I would have chose over it though, but it's still a great pick here. And fun fact, Henry's never even seen 12 Angry Men. He's just doing it for the whole.
He described it pretty well.
Coming
Yeah,
from the
it's
guy
called
who literally
Wikipedia.
has never seen a classic in general.
I've seen Casablanca, Some Like It Hot, and move on.
You know how I know you haven't seen Casablanca? Because you called it
Because I said
Casablanca.
Casablanca.
Casablanca?
I don't know. It's my birthday, no babies.
Trying to
There you
say
go. That's
quesadilla
fine.
over there, son?
Henry, what are your thoughts on round 2?
How to Train Your Dragon, ironically, I just kind of like looked over it initially, so it was literally on my list, like the last thing I just wrote before we started, just to add it to my list. So that's a great pick. That would have been probably my 2 or 3 if my animated, like if I ranked what I would probably go. Shaun of the Dead, great one. It's fun fact. I just watched a reaction to Shaun of the Dead today, like an old one that just I was just going through things because I had a short day at work today, so I didn't want to commit to any video. So I watched a reaction to Shaun of the Dead, and then I randomly landed on Hot Fuzz today to watch. So it was just coincidence that I did the reaction to that. So I'm definitely in a Cornetto vibe today. Not trying to pick on you. I think Wally is just overrated and just doesn't do much for me. I get like some of the sentiment of like why people like it just never clicked for me. Like Wally is cool, but like the story, just I don't know. It's trying to be too high art while still being kiddie, and I feel like it doesn't mesh the tones well and the vibe. And then even though I would like to pick on JPO, Reservoir Dogs obviously is high up there for me. So everyone knows I'm a Tarantino guy, so definitely a great pick. So yeah, solid round 2.
Yeah. Ant, defend Wally because I like the pick.
I think it's just one of the
thoughts on round 2 overall.
I just think it's one of the movies that, again, it's like at the tip top of Pixar's like filmography, but it just doesn't get talked about as much. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it doesn't have that much dialogue. I don't know, but I think it's always deserving of whatever love it gets. So I'm happy still taking it because out of all the animated ones that I had on there, that's the first one I wanted to go with. I did have Toy Story, but I still actually was even debating if Toy Story was available. I still would have taken possibly Wally, because even though Toy Story was the first one, I feel like there's been better movies in Pixar's filmography. Obviously, I hate JPO, and I didn't expect JPO to take Reservoir Dogs, but I hate him for taking Reservoir Dogs. Henry, obviously I know where he's going to go with. And then Shaun of the Dead is also my favorite out of the trilogy, but I didn't have it on my list. So, I mean, I guess I had it like as a good, maybe round 4, round 5. But otherwise, yeah, pretty interesting round. I still feel like we're all going to choose like at least one other animated movie. So, Chad, don't hate me, but I still haven't seen any of the How to Train Your Dragons.
Check them out, man. You'll love them.
I do want to check them out. So yeah.
Yeah, watch that with your girl. That is all 3. Like when you watch the first one, you're going to probably watch back to back to back. Like they're that good.
Yeah. And then
that's coming for me. No one claims me as an animated guy. I vouch for him.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll probably get a lot of gas for this, but I have not actually seen Reservoir Dogs, so I can't speak on that. But
watch along after this.
Yeah, it's a blind spot that I'm hoping to fix this year.
It's on Netflix.
So I own it, so I really don't have an excuse.
Oh shit!
But no, 12 Angry Men. I was hoping to get this round, but I'm not surprised it went early second because yeah, I think the script is incredible, and just the performances overall, like those 12 angry men give
Angry
like
white man, but whatever.
yeah, and it shows that movies don't have to be full of action and full of nonstop going. It can be just good dialogue, and it can be just as gripping as some of these blockbuster action, whatever. How to Train Your Dragon, yeah, great pick. It's a wonderful trilogy. I highly recommend it as well if you haven't seen them. And then I feel like I'm forgetting one. Wall-E, I love Wall-E too. If it was available this round, I might have taken it, but you took it, and I applaud you for it because it's a great movie.
Thank you.
Chad, what are your thoughts on round 2? And then why don't you go ahead after you give us your thoughts, kick off round 3?
Yeah, obviously I've already said Shaun of the Dead's one of my favorite movies of all time. I love the Cornetto trilogy. I love Edgar Wright just in general. That's kind of like one of the big things that I started out in this like whole fan league sphere is coming in and playing Cornetto trivia against Kevin and Joe Farrelly and Kevin Poss and Joe Farrelly and winning actually, which Kevin still beats himself up about. We need a rematch at some point, but yeah, I adore everything about Edgar Wright. Even his documentary, not a lot of people talk about all the time.
That was called, right?
Yeah, yep, it's fantastic. And Shaun of the Dead is just it's perfect. I mean, it's just one of those films that came out and kind of reinvigorated everything. I feel like just like in the horror comedy game, and it's just it's like one of the greatest examples of a great horror comedy. Perfectly written. And then I forget, what did Ant-Man choose again?
Wall-E.
Wall-E. I've hear a lot of people saying it's overrated. I hear the arguments, but I don't agree. Every single time I watch it, I go, I think this is pretty perfect for me. I think it's actually truly underrated. We can have a movie battleground about it at some point, maybe. But I really adore that movie. I do think it's like I can see where people go like, well, the first half is like this like perfect thing with no talking and just like this little romance, and then it kind of goes into a whole other thing. But I actually really like that. Yeah, I think it's really, really, truly a special film. 12 Angry Men is perfect. I definitely had that one on my list. I knew Henry was probably going to pick it, so I probably wouldn't get it because I know how much he loves that movie. But I also love that movie. The first time I saw it, I was like wowed, because I was like, how do they like take like your attention into this, this classic movie that takes your attention with just like a bunch of people at a table talking about, this case, and everyone's against this one guy, and the one guy chooses to stand up for what's not what's right necessarily, but just to say like, hey, look, we don't have all the facts. Let's actually talk about this. You don't have to run out and go to your baseball game. This is a person's life that we're talking about here. I just think that's really special, and I think that's something like the criminal justice system should actually like pay attention to, that these are people's lives that we're dealing with sometimes. Great film. And then JPO, what did he choose again?
Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs, kind of one of my lower ranked Tarantino, but I just think I haven't seen it as much as some of the other ones. I really do like it though, but like I probably wouldn't have picked that for my list. And I don't know where I would rank it amongst Tarantino, because I love so many of the other ones. It probably would be a little bit lower for me, but I know a lot of people really adore that movie. It's pretty great. And I was meaning to check. Yes, I'm gonna go with this one because it's. Hold on.
It's horror, right?
No, it's not. Hold on. No, I'm checking.
How to
something.
Train Your Dragon 2.
No. I was trying to figure out, because I was looking at a number one movie that came out, and then its sequel, and I was like, which one's shorter? Because they're both perfect to me and fantastic. And I'm gonna go. It's a kids movie, and it's not animated, but it's Paddington. That's what I'm gonna go with.
Oh no!
I know it's one that like I know like a lot of people probably wouldn't be mad that I chose because it's not on their list.
Nope.
But it's one that I think is really, really special. And it's one that, if you're going to make a list of like movies that are just kind of like perfect that you could put on and like go like, wait a second, and it reinvigorate or establishes what you think like film can be. I think Paddington and its sequel are some of the most perfect examples to show that like a kids movie can be more than just like, farts and, silly shit. It can be, a bear that gets into really crazy situations, but it can also be like really heartfelt about family, about like someone finding a home and, just kind of loss and just like all this great stuff that happens in Paddington. Also, a great villain performance from Nicole Kidman. I think it's done a little bit better in the sequel, but the sequel's like 4 minutes too long for this list. So I'm going to go with the first Paddington. If you haven't seen it, please check this one out because it's beautiful. It's hilarious. And you'll think it's like, oh, it's just a kids movie and I can't get into it. Trust me, you can. It's a really great film, and I adore it.
Yeah. Nice pick. It was on my list. So
It's a great pick.
Screw you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go with a movie that I think is just one of the best movies of the last 5 years. Starring Daveed Diggs and Raphael Casal. I'm gonna go with Blind Spotting. The more I watch this movie, the more I watch this movie, the more I love this movie. I think Daveed Diggs gives just a really solid performance. And Raphael Casal as the best friend. I think I like his character more. I like what he goes through. The more I watch it, just as a dad, and the scene when his son finds the gun, like the more I watch that, like the more it just his performance just gets me. But like I say this every time I talk about this movie, that final rap scene, is just incredible. The first time I watched this movie, after it was done, I rewound it to that part, watched that scene like 3 or 4 more times alone. Like I thought it was incredible. I haven't watched the TV show yet, so I don't know if it's as good as the movie, but yeah, I was completely blown away by this movie. It was completely off my radar, and then as soon as I watched it, I was like, just I adored it, and I go back to it so much. I was recently on Rankum. We did the top 12 dramas, and like this was the one pick I wanted to make sure got on the list. It was my first choice, and I was like, if it doesn't make the list, I might leave the stream because I don't see 11 movies better than this from the 2010s. So
that would have been dramatic.
But Blind Spotting will be my pick. Ant, what will be your third pick?
Go a lot of different directions. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go with arguably I think it's one of the best coming of age films. And I'm gonna especially one of the best 80s films. I'm gonna go with The Breakfast Club.
Yes.
All right, you definitely made my next pick easier because I was between two. Thank you.
And the funny thing is I was thinking about the one I'm sure Henry's gonna choose, but this one resonates more with me. I feel like the performances individually, you got Emilio, you got, John Nelson, Molly Ringwald, Ali Sheedy, Anthony Michael Hall, all like just amazing in their own roles. And then even I forgot who plays the freaking principal, whatever, but that guy's like in everything. He's always like he's in Die Hard and everything. I just like, I just love the movie as a whole. But it can get very serious and very dark at times.
Though.
Yeah,
Gleason.
Oh, right. And so it's funny, but it's just an also good, just serious movie when it needs to be at times. And I think it's possibly John Hughes' best film. But so yeah, I definitely take Breakfast Club as my third pick.
All right, so Ant goes with Breakfast Club. Henry, you said your pick was easier, so what are you going with?
It's actually funny because the last 3 picks are literally my 10, 11, and 12 favorite movies of all time. Jacob, you picked my 12, and Antonio, you picked my 10, so I'm going to sandwich them. I'm going to go Stand By Me.
Yeah.
It's just a movie, like, it's literally the definition of, like, what they say, like, you don't have friends, like, when you were 12, and it's one of those things where it's like, dude, like that's literally my life growing up. Like I had friends that I just relate to so much in terms of just the the shit talking, you have certain inside jokes and all that stuff. You're more mature and adultish in your vocabulary with each other. You have Teddy's issues with his dad, and he's like, I live up to, he's my hero. He was in the war, blah blah blah. And the one guy's like, your dad's a loony. Don't say that, And then you got the whole thing with his ear, everything with. Oh, my dog's back. I just killed her.
Oh God.
Murder live on stream.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so everything with Vern, hilarious. I brought the comb. You know what I mean? And then, Gordy's backstory of dealing with, the loss of his brother. And then, it makes you think of Walk Hard the entire time. The wrong son died, and it's just, it's just a blast. This movie's a lot of fun. Kiefer Sutherland, a lot of people forget he's in this movie just because, it's just, you think of him as, JB, James Bond, Jack Bauer, in 24, and then you're like, oh yeah, he was a bully, in that, and he was a vampire in Lost Boys and stuff like that. So it's just a lot of fun. And Rob Reiner, shout out to him, one of the most diverse directors of all time. 2 movies on this list, Princess Bride and Stand By Me. A lot of people forget, like, oh yeah, he did that, and he's also done, A Few Good Men, Misery. It's like when Harry Met Sally. Like, tell me any of those movies are alike. So that's a blast. Great soundtrack. Lollipop. The Stand By Me song. And then just my favorite scene is when Chris Chambers and Gordy are sitting there talking when they're doing like the kind of watching each other while they're sleeping, so they don't get murdered by like whatever. And then finally Chris opens up and he talks about the milk money, and then Gordy's like, did you take it? Of course I took it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I am a shithead, but he's like, but also maybe I'm not, because what if I try to give it back? And what if that teacher all of a sudden got a new bag, and it's just like, oh, what a coincidence. You know what I mean? And it's like shit like that does happen because you have a scapegoat. So it's like it covers some legit themes, and it's amazing. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's my number 11. So Stand By Me. Got 2 movies in my top 15, so I'm happy.
Rest in peace, River Phoenix.
Facts.
Oh, yeah.
All right, JPO, close out round 3.
All right, I am gonna go with the first VHS tape of Titanic. It's the part where he draws her, and then I don't know whatever happens on that second VHS tape. Never made it to the second VHS tape. Just kept watching that first one. But if that's not eligible, I'll go for a comedy here. 2 of the greatest comedic talents of all time. I'm gonna go for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Steve Martin and John.
You're changing your.
I can't. If I can keep that, I'll draw you like one of my French girls.
No, man. The second half is the better one anyway, though. So you fucked up.
Oh, is that where he draws her? Is it the second VHS tape?
Yeah, I think so.
There goes my joke.
That nudity.
So
that's the joke I was trying to make, but I picked the wrong VHS tape.
Jackass.
Jackass. Hey, I almost picked that one. Shut up, Henry. Spoilers.
what was your real pick? I wasn't paying attention.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Of course, R.I.P. John Candy. Just one of the greats of all time. He really has the humor and the heart to where, even though he's annoying, you are still absolutely in love with him here. You kind of see shades of this in Tommy Boy later on. And then, of course, Steve Martin here, too. One of the best uses of the R, to get an R rating, the F word, you know what I mean? Because they don't really abuse it until that one scene. And it's just, it's what Due Date wishes it was. You know what I mean? It has the humor, it has the heart. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Well, leave Zach Galifianakis away. You can't go to sleep.
I'm just saying, like, that movie literally tries the same thing where it's like, oh, in the end, you find out so-and-so's dead. No, fuck you. Planes and Trains did it way better on every level.
So good.
So the movie that did it first did it best.
But it also it's just so much way better written, too. I'm just saying, like, they tried doing the same trope, and if you had been as funny or had as much heart, maybe you could have pulled it off. Like Tommy Boy, I think, same thing. I feel like, he's got some heart with that humor. But what are we talking about? Planes, Trains.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. So to recap round 3, Chad took Paddington. Screw you. I took Blind Spotting and took The Breakfast Club. Henry, Stand By Me, and JPO, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Chad, what are your thoughts on round 3?
Yeah, I'll go start with JPO, I guess. Planes, Trains. I rewatched this year for like kind of like Thanksgiving time. I mean, it's that kind of movie, and yeah, it's a really great like buddy comedy like trip, but yeah, it does go into that like kind of heartfelt thing where it's like, this guy, like you think he's trying to go home, and then you learn that he's actually aimless and he doesn't really have a home to go to or anyone to go to at least. And but they build this like kind of bond and relationship over kind of hating each other, or at least Steve Martin hating him for the most of the time, and just kind of all these crazy mishaps and just kind of funny scenarios that happen, and everything that can go wrong does, and they end up at like rock bottom. But at the end of the day, he ends up like giving his home to him, or opening his home to him, because he has where else to go. And it's really a brilliant movie. I love that one. What did Henry pick?
Stand by Me.
Stand by Me is amazing. That's a really great coming of age movie. He described all the best scenes, running from the train, brilliant. Some of the great actors, even like Jerry O'Connell, who doesn't really get work anymore. The late River Phoenix. All these great Corey Feldman, all these great people. I'm not a huge Kiefer Sutherland fan, but he's not bad in the movie, and I think it's just a really great Stephen King adaptation. It's just about kids finding a body, and then they find themselves. And then Ant-Man, what did he pick?
The Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club. That's a great movie. Another great coming of age. I need to rewatch it, but I just love how it's just, high school kids in detention, just learning about each other and just talking about life and, being kids, and, crazy dads that burn cigarettes on them, and, just life problems that are just, teenagers have to bear sometimes. It's beautiful. One of the greatest endings too, with the Don't You Forget About Me. Barbara, you picked what?
Blind Spotting.
That's brilliant. That's one I need to rewatch. I saw it in the theater. Haven't seen it since. But I get people's love for it because it's so good. Daveed Diggs coming right off of Hamilton, and the rap stuff is just really, really great. I love its commentary on like police brutality and all that stuff, and it's just a really profound one that I love. Great picks all around.
Yeah, Ant, what are your thoughts on round 3?
There's definitely some surprises. I thanks to Henry, I recently saw Blind Spotting. I liked it, but it wasn't on my list. But I can see why you chose it. I haven't seen Paddington. I don't think I ever will. Maybe one day I will. But that was a surprise for me, and especially when it comes to like, I guess, I don't know, live action, animated, hybrid, whatever it is. I saw Stand By Me. I saw Henry picking that already. I only saw it once, but the time I saw it, I loved it. I do need to rewatch it. And then JPO, I forgot, what did JPO pick again? That's what I want to try.
The first half of Titan. Automobile.
Oh yeah, that's another movie I haven't seen, and I wish I knew more about it. I know I should have seen it for Thanksgiving, but yeah, I hear good things, but I can see why you chose it. So,
Henry, what are your thoughts on how round 3 went?
So yeah, like I said, I was in between Stand By Me and Breakfast Club as my pick, especially once Blind Spotting was picked. Blind Spotting, I know you being on the panel, there was a chance you take. I know you like it. Obviously you're not on my level, but you just you sniped me, and that's fine. And then Breakfast Club's one of those movies that it's not a poll movie, so I was going with the poll. That was the tiebreaker, even though Breakfast Club's one spot higher than Stand By Me. I was letting the tie be the poll with that one, so I was probably going to pick Stand By Me anyway, but Ant-Man going Breakfast Club just made it easier. Paddington, similar to what I said about the How to Train Your Dragon movies, not being an animated guy, not being a family movie guy, as a whole, like if you look at my top 100, you're not going to see many of them. But Paddington, I vouch for that one as well. Both of them are really good. And they're overrated in the sense of like greatest movie of all time bullshit that people talk about, but they are really good. That's all I'm saying. Like it's just like it's just I don't know. It's interesting take, but that's me not being a family guy, I guess. But and then Planes, Trains, that's literally let's see where it's at in my top 100. It is currently number 58, but it's been as high as like 18 at one point when I was tinkering my list. Like this movie's amazing. Like I love it so much. So yeah, fantastic round. You guys have great taste because you're picking movies that are in my top 100. So good for you guys.
Yeah, where did you say you have Blind Spotting?
It's my 12.
What's my 15?
Wow.
We're not far off. So, yeah, I love that movie. I debated taking it round 2, and then I was sure Chad wouldn't take it, so I felt safe moving it to round 3. Breakfast Club and Stand by Me are 2 movies I came to very late, but I think they're pretty good. I've only seen them once, so I need to give them some rewatches. And then yeah, same with Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. But I adore Paddington. I think that bear is just awesome.
It's the best.
I might give it a shot.
JPO, what are your thoughts on round 3? And then go ahead and kick off round 4.
Yeah, Paddington, fantastic choice here. That fucking bear is wonderful. Blind Spotting, another really good one here, man. He said one of the most memorable finales, I think, in the last 20 years. Breakfast Club, another huge classic here. Can't argue that one too much here. Not my favorite, but it's a great one. I know a lot of people love it. Stand By Me is one I definitely toyed around with. Definitely would have been one I had chosen if it was still around maybe these last couple of rounds, but not surprised someone got to it before me. And the next up, man, I lost this poll already, so let's go with an action flick. Another buddy movie here. I'm going with Rush Hour 2.
I just watched it maybe for the first time 2 days ago that you yelled at me about it.
We love this too. That's why we might get a 4th one. It sounds like even happening here because we just can't get enough. Come on,
don't let Brett Radner anywhere near that though. Please.
I'm sure Tucker knows that. I'm sure everyone knows that by now here. So it's a very worthy enough sequel to here. I think it's just slightly that much funnier. I think there's the action sequences are just a little bit next level. It kind of does what it should do for a sequel here. So I'm gonna go Rush Hour 2.
All right, I'm sure that was on your radar, Henry. So you're scrambling for a pick. What pick would that be?
I'm also going to go Chris Tucker on Friday. Obviously, anyone who knows me knows that one of my favorite movies of all time. It's my my second favorite. Well, I guess technically third favorite, like straight comedy. Big Lebowski, School of Rock technically qualifies. So Friday is my number. And Super Bad. It depends. Any given Sunday is crazy. But anyway, top 5 comedy.
Any given Sunday is not a comedy.
Facts.
What?
It's unfortunately a movie. No, but Friday is literally a movie that I can just quote endlessly. I literally probably the movie that and The Departed are probably the ones where I just have the most random quotes in my day-to-day life from it. It's just a blast.
Damn! It's not your channel.
Yeah, it's not mine. Sorry. Yeah, it's one of those movies that you can just have some fun with. It's actually fun watching reactions to this one from it's usually like white people watching it and they like get it the first time and you can tell that just genuinely it's just a really good movie. Like I watched Greg Alva's reaction to it on Real Rejects and it's one of those things where it took a minute for him to get into it and once he finally did he was like this movie's hilarious and funny because you realize it's literally just a hangout movie. And it's not as much of a stoner comedy as you think it is. It just, weed is just what brings them together. Chris Tucker, that's his, his manic, vibes. It's just, it is what it is. Devo is one of the best villains of all time with his Jaws theme. Shout out Michael Clark Duncan with a little cameo in the background shooting dice. One of my favorite lines of all time. You want some of this too, old man? No. And it's just hilarious. It's just one of those things. F. Gary Gray has a cameo in the convenience store, the corner store, when he's trying to, you know how much you can, make when you slip and a fall in a store, you know what I mean? It's hilarious. So yeah, Friday is one of my favorite movies of all time. Happy it's on the list. And if I don't get the votes for the poll now, you're racist.
But I have Blind Spotting.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but the people that vote for you, they probably are, voting for the cop.
Oh shit.
Oh. That's fair.
So Tato votes for you. We know.
All right. So Friday is off the board, but the other 6 days of the week are still available. And if you want to take one of them.
All right. I think I have a lot of other genres covered except for action. And I think this just barely meets the criteria. I'm going to go with Drive.
Ooh.
it's a very. I had another one in mind for action, but I was like, this one is like a very, very unique one-off. Like this is where like I think they should make a sequel.
100 minutes though.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, take out some of the credits.
Maybe.
But yeah, Ryan Gosling, for a guy that doesn't talk that much, he's freaking amazing in this movie. Got Bryan Cranston. Yeah, exactly. Bryan Cranston, who I love. I love him. Albert Brooks, Ron Perlman, Michelle Williams, Christina, and Oscar Isaac. Even though his freaking character name is weird, but great. Yeah,
not Michelle Williams.
Oh, right, Karen Mulligan. I don't know. They both look similar as fuck.
Yeah, white women,
white blonde women. But yeah, man, this movie's amazing. The score is fucking out of this world, and to just put so much action and so much just suspense in 100 minutes is freaking amazing. There'll be times where you kind of wish they made a sequel to this, but they should just leave it alone. It's perfect as it is. So yeah, going with Drive.
All right, good.
Hey, why'd your camera go off last minute? What'd you do? What happened? Murder.
Yeah, I'm trying to round out my list too. I debated going all animated, but obviously I abandoned that after the second round. So I'm gonna go with one that's kind of action, kind of a family movie, kind of a comedy. Going all the way back to 1990, I'm gonna go with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
This I've grown up with the Turtles. I've seen this movie more times than I could count because I don't want to count that high. After I have to take off my socks and use my toes, it gets too much. But I love the Turtles. I think the Brotherhood is really strong. I think Splinter is one of the best movie teachers / mentors. And yeah, it's definitely a personal pick because it's not the best movie ever made. It's definitely has some cheese in it, but I think the fight scenes are all great. And then yeah, just the brotherhood between the four turtles is really cool, and I love it. I don't really care what anyone says about it. I may be looking at one person on the panel that always votes it down when it appears on tournament fights. I'm not naming any names, JPO. But yeah, this one is more kind of a personal pick, much like the Lion King was. But I love it. So TMNT from 1990. Chad, what do you got?
All right. I'm gonna go with something no one's done, I think, on this panel yet. I'm gonna go with a musical.
Okay.
And it is one that I think is probably the greatest, or one of the greatest at least. It's a modern one, musical adapted to film, and it is a Best Picture winner. If you don't know where I'm going yet, it is the best picture. No, it's the best movie that year, I think. Chicago.
What's that? Oh shit.
Just waiting for anybody to get outraged because it beat the Two Towers. Anyways,
as it should. Chicago's a banger.
I'm just surprised it was under 100 minutes.
Yeah, well, it's right there. I think it's right 100 minutes.
It felt way longer.
Hour 52. So I mean, I don't know. It's
is it an hour 52?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where you got your stats.
Yeah, I even see 53 on mine. So disqualified. New pick.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's weird. I say Chicago runtime. It says hour 40, just like mine. So
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think the Wikipedia page is 113. So
well, shit. All right. Well, I'll go with another one. I'll go with another one that I
saved because that would have tanked your poll. So you're welcome. That movie's
Chicago's great.
That movie is trash.
I'll defend it my dying days. Anyways, I'll go with another one that I absolutely adore, and yes, it's a horror, but it's also kind of an action. I'll go with Evil Dead 2. That one's definitely
double trash
counts. And it's one of the Best films ever made. It is
What?
That is not true.
What?
Not true.
That's film. I wasn't fighting like Henry, but ever made.
Is this like
Right,
big bashing thing now? Is that where we're going? Because we're almost an hour in.
You had to go horror. That's why.
No, you
Anyway.
Anyway, say ever made.
Anyway, Evil Dead 2 is one of the it's groundbreaking. This is Sam Raimi at his like most Sam Raimi-ness. And if you adore Sam Raimi like I do, you totally get it. I guess Henry doesn't. That's fine. But from the get-go, you watch this movie from beginning to end, like all whatever 90 something minutes it is. It is just a thrill ride from beginning to end. You feel like the claustrophobia, you feel the isolation with him, the slowly like getting mad over or crazy over time that he gets until you get the other people that come in, and you get everything that happens with them and all of the crazy deadite insanity that happens. It has one of the greatest endings, and that transitions into another movie, The Army of Darkness, that if that movie had never been made, it still would have been a fantastic ending of just like, what the hell just happened? And actually, that's what you say throughout the whole movie. Like, what is happening right now? It's pure insanity, but I'm there for it every single minute because it blends comedy, it blends horror, it blends action, it blends all this together so well that it's kind of a perfect movie in my eyes, at least. And I just think if you are going to pop on just a movie that's just going to like, carry you throughout this 90 minutes, that's a movie that you just want to watch and go like, what's going to happen next? Because this is all just crazy. And, I don't know. I love this movie. Go ahead with your other picks. Or wait, I got to have the next one.
Yeah, but just to recap, round 4, JPO took Rush Hour 2, Henry Friday, Ant took Drive, I took Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Chad, Evil Dead 2, JPO. Just real quick, what are your thoughts on round 4?
Round number 4. Friday's good. I figured Henry might go there. That's a fun one. Drive's a great pick. I think that's a great pick. It's one I didn't even see on the list, so
It's
I wish
100
I had
minutes,
gotten
so
to it.
Challenge. No, it's kidding.
Oh, challenge! And Tony's gonna pick another new number 4. Bullshit. I want to Drive. This channel itself is way too high on TMNT or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's fun, but that's definitely you putting on nostalgia glasses. There's other movies that should have been on the list. Evil Dead 2, good. I've watched Rush Hour 2. It's a way funnier movie, way better made.
Well, it's a comedy, so it should be funnier.
Yours is a comedy. Or trying to be.
That was funny, right?
Yeah. Like I said, I like it. I just like you and like Anderson and Austin. Just you guys always like keep voting in tournament rounds where you're like Godfather or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. I'm more fun with the Secret of the Ooze. Like what the heck?
JPL, but what would you?
I didn't even pick Secret of the Ooze. I don't know. I don't know why we're slandering TMNT 2 when it's not even the one being discussed. Anyway, keep going.
And then Evil Dead 2. Yeah, no, it's a good one. All time horror, maybe, or horror comedies, yeah. But a good pick, actually, though, too. Just of all time, I don't know.
All right, Henry, what are your thoughts on round 4?
I actually watched Rush Hour 2 the other day for maybe the first time because I didn't remember much of it. Obviously, there's scenes growing up that, on cable and all that stuff and, whatever that I probably have seen or, whatever. But as a film, I don't know if I'd ever seen. It was fine. Definitely not as good as the first one. The chemistry was already, there. So it's like Lethal Weapon and Lethal Weapon 2, where it's like, Lethal Weapon 2 for me is better than the first one. But in this one, the chemistry is better, but the story is not as interesting. And then the action's whatever. Antonio, damn it, would you now? I don't forget. Would you do Antonio?
Drive.
Oh yeah, because it doesn't count. 100 minutes now. Drives a banger. It's in my top 100. It's a lot of fun.
When you do the poll, make sure people know he got disqualified.
Yeah, exactly. TMNT 1990. It's one of those movies that I watched last year for the first time. I think I've seen clips, but I feel like I watched it the first time. I'm solid. I'm not going to hate it as much as JPO does, but I'm definitely not.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, And then Evil Dead 2. I don't like that movie. I've given it multiple times. I love Sam Raimi as a director. The first Evil Dead is a banger. That is a perfect horror film of, for its, budget and all that stuff, and the acting abilities not being there, is Sam Raimi's first movie. That movie's perfect. And then Evil Dead 2 is just a remake of that movie without, the confidence of the, he didn't have the eye of the tiger, wink, wink. So it's one of those things where that movie's just missing it, because it's like, I want to be funny and I want to be scary. And it's like, it doesn't really fully commit to either. So they contradict each other. And I don't get the love for that movie. Army of Darkness is a banger. That one is full comedy, so that one's awesome. The first Evil Dead is full horror, so that one's awesome. And the Evil Dead remake is fucking so crazy, and that one's pretty good. So yeah, Evil Dead 2 sucks, so I hate that movie. Not a knock on Chad. I get you love it. A lot of people love it, and I just don't get it. So that's that. Mattress Man.
And what are your thoughts on round 4 and your disqualified movie?
Rush Hour 2 actually is my favorite out of the trilogy, so respect that. TMNT, I like the movie. I just prefer Secret of the Use. So, but still respect the first one. I want to see the whole Evil Dead franchise, but I haven't had the chance. But yeah, I mean, Chad's a horror guy, so I trust his judgment. But I don't know. I gotta watch it for myself to see if it really is a shitty movie, as Henry says. But otherwise, and I forgot what
opinion is being unbiased. So I definitely am curious one day. So let me know.
Right. And now I forgot what Henry picked.
Friday.
I've seen once, and yeah, I can see it. It's a good like round 4 pick. So yeah, that's something 93.
It's a round 1 pick. I just knew I could get it in round 4. Let's go.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, I'm curious to see how this all finishes out in round 5.
Yeah, I haven't seen Friday yet. That's another series I need to get to. And then all the other picks I've seen.
We are. Just let me know when you're ready for what movie, and I'll put all my favorites. Start with my top 100. They're great.
But and then all the other movies that are picked, I've seen once, and I remember enjoying them. So that's my thoughts on round 4. Chad, what do you have to say about round 4? And then go ahead and kick off round 5.
All right. Yeah, no, I've never really enjoyed personally a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie. It's just not like one of my franchises that I really enjoy. But I know a lot of people do. I think that's fantastic. Great pick. Great personal pick, maybe. I don't know. A lot of people like those early 90s. So, Ant-Man pick. Drive's phenomenal. I kind of wish I would have gotten it because it's a great pick, not just for like kind of action, but thriller, little bit of romance in there, kind of. Yeah, it's a really phenomenal pick. That one's just like oozing style, and just like the clothes is iconic, the music is iconic. I don't know, that's just kind of like a really well made film that a lot of people really adore, myself included, for great reason. And Bryan Cranston's in it. So there you go. Sure. What did Henry pick? Friday's fantastic. I love, especially like watching like Straight Outta Compton, and you see little baby Ice Cube like writing Friday, and stuff like that is really cool to know that Ice Cube actually wrote that. He didn't direct it. No, it was yeah.
I want to see a movie about little baby Ice Cube. The way you put it just made me think, yeah, man, movies.
And like one of my favorite parts too is like when he like goes into his house and he like gets like this big ass bowl to like make some cereal, but then he has no milk. And that's like it's one of the worst things that can happen to you.
I want cereal right now. I don't have any milk, and I'm not putting water on it. That's
so sad. No, don't do that. Or Coke or whatever. Yeah, Friday's a really great personal film. I love that one as well. I don't watch it as much as I should. And then Rush Hour 2. Oh my God, I love the first 2 Rush Hours. Those are my jam. Like those were like very great like nostalgia movies. And I know a lot. They might not hold up super well to like the whole 2023 modern eye or whatever, but like they're bangers. And then watch.
I know why you're mad.
Watch Rush Hour 3 and just see how terrible they could have been, because that movie is straight up garbage. Like it's like, how many people can you insult in one movie? Like different races and cultures can you insult in one movie? That's Rush Hour 3. But the first two Rush Hours are just, the chemistry between those actors, and Jackie Chan is just on another level with his action comedy and all that stuff. So yeah, the perfect movie, great choice.
Fun fact: when I watched Hot Fuzz today, it was between Hot Fuzz and Rush Hour 3 for my 2007 pick of what I was going to watch. I chose Hot Fuzz, so I chose right, I guess.
Yes. All right, so I'm going to go into my last pick here, and I was trying to see, is there another pick that could maybe be more like pure action or something like that, and they were all like just over, like John Wick's just 1 minute over, and I'm like, I'm not trying to cheat the rules here. So I'm like, I'm going to go with one that was originally on my list. And for some people, it might tank my list. People might not vote for me here, but it's one that I adore. And we just passed the season here. I'm going to go with a Christmas film. And it's Elf. I freaking love this movie so much. I actually did a Christmas ranking with friends, and I rated it my top Christmas film, which is crazy because I love so many Christmas films. Home Alone, all these great ones, even the classics like Miracle on 34th Street, It's a Wonderful Life. But Elf, I think, just captures, that spirit. And I mean, not just Christmas, it's very Christmas. So it's, kind of hard to watch year round if you wanted to. But if you just want to get like that childlike, spirit, or, just the spirit of Christmas, really is, this movie captures like the best I've ever seen. And I love Will Ferrell in this role, because a lot of people don't like Will Ferrell, but because he does do the whole man-child thing. But I think in this it's different because he's an actual character. He is actually Buddy the Elf, and he never breaks. He's never not that character, and he's just so purely that childlike. He's never really grew up, and the way he becomes the elf at the end of the day and saves Christmas, by inspiring Joby to sing loud for all to hear. That's the best way to spread Christmas cheer. And just changing, his dad Walter into being an actual good person that wants to spend time with his family, and then he gets to learn that he can actually start his own thing and not be under the boot heels of this asshole who's going to make him work on Christmas Eve. And then he can actually say, let's actually start our own thing, and just work life balance and all that jazz. So great film, love it.
All right. So Chad goes Elf, and we're back to me, and I'm gonna go with the movie that I think, for me personally, is the funniest movie. Every time I watch it, I laugh as if it's the first time I watched it. I'm gonna go with Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I think this movie is endlessly quotable. I love how the introductions to all the characters, and then the adventure they go on when they all meet up. The Black Knight, the Knights of Need, just some of the dialogue is just hilarious. And I was introduced to this movie in high school. We actually watched it when we were doing a King Arthur section in my English class, and that was the first time, and I fell in love with it, and I watch it at least 2 or 3 times a year. I think this movie is hilarious. So to round out my list, I will go Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Ant, what are you picking with your last pick?
I'm going with my gut, especially because I think I'm safe as far as the poll positioning goes. And if it tanks it because I don't care. Plus, it's me, so I have to have something geek related. And I think people still say that this is the best. There are people who would argue this is the best movie for this character. I'm gonna go with Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. That is my favorite superhero. I remember seeing this as a kid, and I mean, obviously, I love the series, and then the fact that they made an actual theatrical film for it, I thought was amazing. The fact that get to see like sort of like his origin, but like in animated form, and then just obviously Mark Hamill's the GOAT as a Joker, at least animated, although arguably all time too. And then rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. Especially because that man's always going to be Batman for me. So yeah, I know I had to go. Probably could have gone another direction, but I don't mind going animated, and especially since it's a geek animated film. So yeah, I'm ending with Batman: Mask of the Phantasm.
I like it. I like the pick. Henry, what are you choosing to round out your list?
Well, I have 3 legit movies that are like higher on my list, like on my personal list, but I want to stick with my diverse list. I have a crime movie. I have a procedural courtroom / drama, a coming of age movie, and then a straight up comedy. So I will do. It's between anime and horror, and as always, tie goes to the poll. So I'm going to go animated, and I'm going to go Inside Out.
Nice.
Obviously, if you look at a lot of my favorite movies, if it's not a crime movie, it probably covers something to do with some sort of version of coming of age, and mental health. And this one literally does both with that. Riley is just a fantastic character because she, goes through just the trials and tribulations of a young girl growing up, but also just dealing with moving, and just we get a literal inside view of her head, the different feelings, how they're presented in this movie are just fantastic. You got Bill Hader as Fear. You have Black. What's his first name?
Lewis Black.
Lewis Black. I'm like Joe Black. No, that's not right. Lewis Black as Anger. You have Mindy Kaling as Disgust.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, exactly. Amy Poehler as Joy, and then old girl Phyllis Smith. Phyllis. What's her name? Phyllis. What's her last name? Phyllis something.
Smith. I'm pretty sure it's Smith.
Yeah. As Sadness, and it's just a lot of fun with that movie. And when you think of an animated movie, you want a movie that can put you in a mindset that you can enjoy various different ways, especially for if you're a grown man, you have to relate to it somehow, whether you have a daughter, so you can be in the mindset that you were once a kid, you grew up with that, but also it's got comedy, it's got Bing Bong's one of the just best characters of all time. Even if you've never had an imaginary friend, the way that he's written, it just does such a great job of doing that. Richard Kind maybe is one of those actors really, maybe I should put him on a list of best actors of all time because his filmography, I might like the stuff that he's been in. Maybe have that approach. No, but it's just a blast, and R.I.P. Hockey Island. So yeah, let's go.
All right, so Inside Out, rounding out Henry's list, and now we go to JPO for the final pick.
I think I upset Chad before, so I'll go with what he thought I was going to say before. Shampoo is better. No, conditioner is better. Shampoo cleans the hair. Conditioner makes it nice and smoothie. Oh, really, fool? Really? Stop looking at me, Swan. I'm going to vote for A Quiet Place. There's a really great 90-minute movie with John Krasinski. Really sucks you into this world. Some great stuff with him and the kids, protecting them. Great opening sequence. Yeah, A Quiet Place. Really good, tight movie.
The right kid died.
The right one died that time. Hey, I had to play with that fucking airplane or rocket ship.
Rocket ship.
Not where I expected you to go. But no, A Quiet Place. That's a great pick. I forgot about that.
I couldn't hear it, so
I see what you did there.
I didn't hear that one coming, JPO. Sorry, I'm in stand-up mode. I'm improv. Let's go.
Henry, live at the Chuckle Hut this Thursday.
It was actually called Mighty Mix. Shout out Mickey.
All right. So just to recap, Chad has Halloween, How to Train Your Dragon, Paddington, Evil Dead 2, and Elf. I have The Lion King, Shaun of the Dead, Blind Spotting, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Ant has The Princess Bride, Wall-E, The Breakfast Club, Drive, and Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. Henry has Fargo, 12 Angry Men, Stand By Me, Friday, and Inside Out. And then JPO has Toy Story, Reservoir Dogs, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Rush Hour 2, and the comedy classic A Quiet Place. Real quick, Chad, what are your thoughts on the draft overall? And
not just this round, but the draft overall.
yeah, just draft overall. Yeah, you can give your quick thoughts on this round too, and then just the draft overall.
Yeah. So I don't know. I forgot whatever. Oh, Mask of the Phantasm. I'm not a huge fan of, but a lot of people love that one. A Quiet Place is brilliant. I love the first and the second one. I'm excited for the third one to come out. But I thought he was going to go with Billy Madison, and that would have been an even better pick, I think. But it is what it is. And Henry, you did Inside Out, a fantastic movie, love it. One of the best Pixar. And Jacob, what would you do?
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
One of the greatest comedies ever made. Great British comedy, love it. Yeah, and just the draft overall, I think everybody has like a great slate, to be honest. There's some movies I don't particularly enjoy in some people's slates, but I think like every list is unique to each person. Like I can probably like just blindfold myself, forget what everybody chose, look at them and tell who picked each one because I'm like, oh, blind spotting, that's Barber. Yeah, of course. But that's not a bad thing. I think everybody picked really great stuff that's personal to them. And it's beautiful. I think this went really well. Had fun.
Yeah. Ant, what are your thoughts on the round and then the draft overall?
Yeah, it was a good final round, I would say. Some surprises here and there. Overall, if I had to guess, I'd say my prediction is that it's going to come down to either me, Henry, or JPO. Just how I see it. I understand we all went with like some of our personal favorites, but when it comes to the polls, people are going to go by consensus. But this was a cool topic, considering that we're trying to find like greatness in movies where they're kind of like just short, but we all had like a good diversified choice of films. I agree with what I think Chad said earlier, or at least I think Chad or Henry that said we just all have like great taste. So I'm just curious to see how this is one draft where even though I had the prediction, this poll could honestly go anywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if whoever wins, takes it. So
yeah, y'all are underestimating the TMNT love. Henry, what are your thoughts on the round and then the draft overall?
Well, I mean the round's fine. Quiet Place, definitely interesting. Like I feel like there are other horror movies that you could have gone instead of that one, and then obviously if you didn't want to go with your gut, Billy Madison, coward. Holy Grail is just one of those movies that it just bums me out that I always forget about it because it's just not eligible on Vudu. So like, it just pisses me off that now, because I don't do physical media anymore. So when I'm just scrolling through and I'm watching movies, it's not on my list. Like I have over 1,000 movies on my Vudu. So it's just fallen out of my favorites and it bums me out that it does that, but that's just how my mind works. But great pick. Mask of the Phantasm, really good movie. You could tell it's just an extended, version of the TV show in terms of like plot wise. It's very thin, but like, Kevin Conroy, Rip, and Mark Hamill are great, like as their characters. And then old girl, she's really good too. So it's a lot. It's a really solid movie. Elf, good pick. Definitely no issues there. You sit on a throne of lies. Yeah, that's a good time. Some quick shout outs of honorable mentions that since I didn't go with my gut because I wanted to. I mean, I didn't just go with my favorites because I wanted to diversify my list. Glengarry Glen Ross, if I wanted to take the Antonio route of 100 minutes, that's definitely next on the list. Rocky 3. 99 minutes, my second favorite Rocky. Short Term 12, a banger. And then two movies that I just want to shout out that never get talked about enough: The Peanut Butter Falcon and Raw, French horror. Those are two movies that just handle the material that they're going with masterfully and mad underrated for whatever reason. So shout out to them. I know JP was a big fan of The Peanut Butter Falcon. He just never remembers Saltwater Redneck.
I love The Peanut Butter Falcon.
And I have a personal connection to Foley and Robertson. I remember.
Jake the Snake.
No, my friend saw his penis. Anyway,
What?
Jake's one of those old school wrestlers, man. Doesn't care. He'll walk around, nothing in the locker
Dong.
room, no pants on.
I'm not
Just
talking
dong
about
out, baby.
Black Onion hourly dong either.
Which is voiced by anyone? Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Interesting, really? Dong.
Yeah, he's because of Brick. He's in every movie. Brothers Bloom. He's in a band in the background. There's a voice in the Star Wars. Yeah, he always has him in something in like a small degree.
That's cool.
Anyway, JPO, what are your thoughts?
That's all I'm here for. Fun facts. Goodbye.
Bye.
As far as round 5, by the way, goes, I think that was a banger round 5 here. I mean, I love all these picks. Inside Out less, mostly just because I hate it. But Elf, great Christmas movie here. Monty Python, one of my favorite comedies. Batman, fantastic animated movie. It's one of those that people, love to kind of throw in there. They're like, hey, don't forget about this. One of the best Batman movies. Yeah, and Inside Out's okay. So I thought it was a great round 5. And then overall, yeah, like it really depends here, man. Like I was looking at who my favorite was, and it kind of changes the more I think about it. So it just depends on where people kind of go. I think everyone picks some smart picks, some good picks here, and all of these would be fun film festivals.
Yeah, I thought round 5 was pretty strong. I too enjoy all of these movies. I would put any of these on and have a good time with them. I was a little surprised Henry went animated with Inside Out. I applaud the pick. I also had a few that I was debating on bringing up. I'm surprised no Beauty and the Beast for an animated pick. Some comedies that I saw that I was debating on were Office Space and Mallrats, and Clerks.
Clerks too.
Clerks 2.
Yep.
I've only seen the first one, guys. Don't shoot me.
Oh, come on.
I debated going with one of my favorite directors in Beetlejuice. It was the one I was thinking about, but I'm still pretty happy with my list. I think the draft was fun overall. I think we've all got
other honorable mentions. I'll do a couple real quick too. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. I thought maybe that might get taken. The Outsiders. Stay Golden Pony Boy. Encino Man. Fraser songs going on. Zombieland and Anchorman were also ones I was thinking about.
Yeah, I had Napoleon Dynamite and a classic that I don't know if anyone would have went with, City Lights. But I didn't know.
Okay.
Would know
I almost went with Modern Times. Actually,
Modern Times. That's
Yeah, I got 12 Angry Men, so I got my classic out of the way.
Yeah.
The other classic on my list, The Killing, Stanley Kubrick.
Playing shit in
I think you would have went Dr. Strangelove.
And Dr. Strange. Those are the two. So I like to shout out the underrated ones sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. So overall, I think the draft went well. We'll get the poll up. I'm very curious to see how this one goes because I think we've all got a very good slate of movies here. So thank you guys for joining me. Real quick, we'll just go around and you can tell us where people can find you on the interwebs. Chad.
Yeah, check out my channel, Chadwick Webb. We rank stuff. The last big thing we did was a 5.5 hour ranking of all 61 Disney animated films. And,
Holy shit.
I was like, do I split this thing up or do I just release
it?
I released it all 5.5 hours. I edited it really, really well, added like little chapters and stuff. So it's a little easier to get through because of that. But, it was a daunting task. It took us months to do, to watch all those movies. But now I can say I've seen all of them. And I'm a big fan of a lot of them. And that's always fun over there. Check that channel out. Like and subscribe, please. Over at the Nerd Entertainment Network, welcome to Primetime. Me, my wife, Carrie, and my buddy Hunter, we all talk horror and sometimes Buffy. Shout out to Buffy a lot of the times. And it's really fun over there. So check out that channel. And then check out my buddy's channel, the Dill Pickle Movie Network, where we do Picture This. And it's, an Oscar show where we just talk about the best pictures and, with actors, actresses from that year, the Oscar ceremony. This month we are doing 1972 because we are starting our Godfather trilogy, slate. We're going to have a little bit of a hiatus with 1 month because we're doing 1972 this month, then 1974, and then we're going to do 2022 because of Oscar season, and then we're going to do 1990, which was actually my birth year, in April. So
1990 babies.
I also am an April 1990 baby.
There you go.
1990, baby.
Yep.
Check out that show and find out are all three of the Godfathers the best movies ever made, best mafia movies. I mean, 1990, the best mafia movie probably wasn't the third Godfather. So there you
State
go.
of Grace.
State of Grace. Not Goodfellas.
Nope, not good.
And where can people find you?
Just find me on Facebook. I'm usually all the trivia leagues, show about trivia. Got also got Henry's channel, Henry Confidential. But yeah, I think I'm starting to love doing these drafts more and more often, man. So I appreciate you letting me on, and hope to be back for another one.
Yeah, for sure. Henry, talk to us.
Obviously, anyone checking us out, you guys be on the Schmodown Friends and Family thing, but also go check out Confidential Movie Talk. I'm doing my own poll, just different eyes, just to show the love of the draft. So join that group. I converted the old TWVT group just because it's not private, so I wanted to do a public group and share it. It's just easier for that, more eyes and all that stuff. So join that group, as well as go ahead and check out my YouTube, HC Movie Talk. Just doing drafts or live things, Jeopardies, ripping off JPO's ASATs. I just started talking to a girl, and she's interested in doing reactions with me. So obviously, get her on some low cut T-shirt, show off the heavies, get a good thumbnail out there, and watch movies for the first time. So go ahead and click that, and then in the link below, the OnlyFans. So yeah, then there you go.
And finally, JPO, where can people find you?
On Henry's
OnlyFans. Henry's OnlyFans. It's the best $9.99 a month. And I ain't talking to you, Big T. That's a nice cute quote. Run out on that channel. The Pierce Code channel doing some movie trivia there. We're about to start the 2023 tournament, which none of these people signed up for. Well, Antonio. Well, none of you signed up for it. I hate all of you. Antonio won last year. Antonio won.
He beat me in round one, and I'm so salty about it.
Yeah.
That means you didn't sign up for this year? So you didn't sign up for this year because you lost in round one last year?
No, it's because you shouldn't have had to ask. Just automatically sign me up.
Yeah, but I didn't know you wanted to play.
I'm offended.
You want to play? I'm offended. Anywho. And especially you too, Chad. You broke my heart.
I'm looking for the thing. I didn't see it.
Like and subscribe to the Facebook group. You never play either in the melees. Stop avoiding Steve Mesa, everybody. And you can also find me over at the Pierce Wrestling channel. Some wrestling trivia interviews. I just interviewed Chris Clow. So yeah, some fun stuff over there.
Right on. Yeah, follow these people in all their endeavors. Like and
stop stealing. He steals my ASATs. You steal my Endeavor lines. God,
yeah, because you were the first and only person to ever use the word Endeavor.
I feel like you stole it from me.
Okay.
I'm more of an Endeavor guy.
But yeah, no, like and subscribe. Tier Ranker Tournament Fights. We'll be starting an animated series here pretty soon. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, I don't know what all Jordan has planned for the channel, so I can't really speak to that. But also, I did bring back a podcast about movies, so we'll be doing that once or twice a month, as well as the Lonely Marks. We need to finalize a date, but it will be sometime next week, I'm pretty sure. Talking about 2022 because we're already 2 weeks into the new year, so we should probably get on that.
Should wrap up that last year first, yeah.
So this was a lot of fun. Thank you guys once again.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chad, Ant, Henry, Jordan. I am Jacob, and I don't have a fancy outro.
Jets
so I'm just gonna end the broadcast.